This week, online applications are launched to teach children about bushfires.
Cockburn City Mayor Logan Howlett encouraged the idea of city council mergers.
Beijing Massacre Memorial Vigil expected to gather huge crowds.
And complaints made towards public transport in Hong Kong have dropped by 20%.
This is the evening news with Ivan Leung and Danielle Staniskov.
Good evening. Education Minister Peter Collier has launched WA's first online application to educate children about how to deal with bushfires. The minister made the announcement during his visit to Armadale Primary School.
An innovative new online education program launched at Armadale Primary School this week has been developed to teach children about bushfire safety.
Bushfire Patrol is an interactive program that can be used in schools to make students much more aware of both the dangers of bushfires but also as strategies to prevent bushfires.
The program was developed after recommendations from both the Department of Fire and Emergency Services and the Federal Natural Disaster Resilience Program to provide an interactive learning tool for students. Mr. Collier believed it is exciting to see this new education approach about fire safety, allowing students to better understand the threat of natural disasters. Lloyd Bailey from FESA said, through this education program, youngsters can learn how to stay safe in a fire situation.
The earlier we can get the message across to students and who can talk to their parents, make them all aware, so people across the community from as young as age to the old as they are become more aware of fire, what they can do to make themselves safer and their homes safer.
Martin Wilson, WAMN News.
The City of Cockburn has celebrated the yearly National Reconciliation Week to reach out to Indigenous Australians and bring the community together. In addition, the City Mayor Logan Howlett has met with Minister for Local Government Tony Simpson regarding the pending merger of city councils in Western Australia.
It's a week-long event that recognises the Aboriginals' contribution to the Australian community. More than 200 people came to the City of Cockburn and joined in a week-long event, with lunch served to more than 100 Aboriginal and other members of the community.
It's a day that's been, a week that's been set aside each year so that people from all around Australia can sit down and share stories, look at what's happening in terms of reconciliation.
On other issues, the City Mayor has also expressed that he backs the City Council reform in Perth. Mr Howlett's comments come after mayors and CEOs of different towns and city councils in the metropolitan area have met with the Minister for Local Government, Tony Simpson.
We need to be better positioned, more financially stable as local governments and prepared to work for our communities in a different way going into the future.
Mr Howlett also believes that merging city councils can increase the population, giving the council more bargaining power to get funding from the federal government. Christian Landels, WAMN News.
A Perth property seminar held by the Hong Kong Australia Business Association is an attempt to give advice to newcomers on property investments and help them to make the right decisions.
HKABA's Small Property Investment Seminar seems to have attracted a lot of new property players.
I said in the seminar, education is everything. It's not a race. Our job is to provide assistance, the right product.
The principal of property company Rain and Hornwell Trainer has hosted the 2-hour seminar, giving advices and explaining their property investment business models. He also gave insight about the property investment in a business model and how to create a plan.
Start learning, prepare to be bold, look outside of the square, and just keep asking questions.
Property prices in Perth are setting record highs, with the housing boom pushing the price median to more than 500,000 Australian dollars. Dustin Low, WAMN News.
To Hong Kong news now. With the June 4th Beijing Massacre anniversary less than 1 week away, the Legislative Council has voted down the motion to criticise China. Meanwhile, the organiser of the candlelight vigil believes the attendance number will be higher than last year.
The Legislative Council in Hong Kong debated on the bill of overturning the official verdict of the June 4th incident in the last week. The annually brought up bill had, however, once again been vetoed by pro-government council members. The mover of the bill, Albert Ho, said that the June 4th incident was a shame of not just Chinese, but the whole mankind. He teased the pro-government council members for ignoring the bill just because they decided not to face the truth and history. However, pro-government council members showed disagreements towards both Albert Ho's speech and the bill. Tony Dare, which is a member on the government side, claimed that what really happened on June 4th, 1989 in Tiananmen Square is still yet to be cleared up. He said that even though June 4th incident was a misfortune, he didn't have sufficient related information for him to comment on the event. Hong Kong citizens, however, have other opinions on June 4th incident. According to a survey conducted by the University of Hong Kong, 63% of the correspondents supported the overturning of the official verdict on the misfortune event. It turned out that the result was the highest ever record since 1997. The findings also showed that the majority of Hong Kong citizens still strongly opposed to the brutal action taken by the PRC government at that time, and they still sympathize with the students that protested. Charlie Ju, WAMN News.
Youthspot has rolled out a 4-day challenge to 10 Hong Kong teenagers to live under a short amount of cash and explore the 18 districts by foot. This activity will also test the teenage group's persistence and tenacity. YTV senior journalist Dustin and Charlie Ju together filed this report.
10 teenagers will be taking on the challenge to travel around Hong Kong by foot and live within a small budget. We are able to catch up with the social worker from Ping Sha Community Centre to explore more about this adventure.
其實我諗年幾前啦，睇到報紙上面咧有年青人，咁其實即係見到一個訪問啊，有年青人咧真係辭咗工咧，就去喺香港流浪。咁我會睇啦，流浪呢個字賦予啲乜嘢嘅意思咧？
This journey's aim is to allow teenagers to explore Hong Kong, discover local cultures, stories, and some forgotten heritages. They will also host a live online radio show to keep followers up to date. Participants believe that this adventure can widen their eyes and encourage others to join in.
喺香港啲年輕人咧，其實佢對一啲歷史嘅了解其實唔多啦，而且我哋香港嘅歷史咧，應該話近幾十年嚟，香港嘅歷史一直喺個歷史文古蹟啊，一直喺度咁消失緊。咁其實如果佢唔趁早再啲了解，咁呢啲可能喺消失咗之後，佢都唔會話有辦法去作一個真實嘅了解。
The teenagers will start their exploration trip in July this year. Dustin Low, WAMN News.
Complaints related to traffic issues have dropped by 20% according to the latest government figures. During the same period, approximately 5,600 complaints were processed, with 2/3 of them finding an end result.
4,800 complaints and suggestions were received by the Transport Complaints Unit of the Transport Advisory Committee in the first quarter of 2013. There is a decrease of 20.2% as compared with around 6,000 cases in the previous quarter, while comparing to the number of cases received in the same quarter of 2012, there is an increase of 7.4%. In this quarter, the Transport Complaints Unit completed investigations into around 5,600 cases, and 2/3 of cases were found to be substantiated. For those cases, relevant government departments and public transport operators are considering possible solutions and taking steps to retrieve this situation. Aaron Key, WAM News.
That's how the world looks tonight. More news on our website.
Remember to like us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Good night.
Good night.